The most scalable resource we have is people power.
We had Indigenous leaders, African American leaders, Asian American leaders, Rasa leaders, all throughout the country. Inspiring.
Even though we've only been here for 5 months, I feel like I have completely changed, not only as a leader, but as a person.
I think one of the hardest parts about starting this journey was thinking that I didn't have all the tools that I needed, but Camelback and their coaches and the team made me feel like everything that I had was already good enough, and we can just enhance and grow that to be able to do the rock star thing that I want to do, which is change lives.
Hello, my name is Dr. Charles Corprew, and I am the Senior Lead of Network at Camelback Ventures. Welcome to Press Play, radical tracks from our Camelback Fellows. We're here today because we are culminating the end of the 2022 Camelback Fellowship. The Camelback Fellowship is our opportunity to work with some of the most innovative people in education and conscious tech who are women, BIPOC, and non-binary entrepreneurs. During the fellowship, we have the ability to pour into them, providing capital, community, connections, and an extensive curriculum that allows them to actually think about how their ventures are going to grow and scale. Today, in the next 60 minutes, you'll be able to hear from our 11 social innovators who are changing the world. If you'd like to learn more about what we're doing here at Camelback Ventures and what they're doing across the world, please make sure you go to camelbackventures.org/Camelback Press Play. And to start off, we have 3 wonderful education ventures who are doing amazing things across the world.
I am here speaking loudly for the pockets of America that are never in the limelight. Those who run around on dirt roads, operate on well water, for those who can see the horizon in their backyard but see no path toward it. I'm speaking about Black rural America, where the talent and hunger is plentiful, but the resources and the investment in our communities are scarce. I am Angelica, and I'm describing my home, rural Charles County, Maryland. It's where my love story with songwriting, theater, and poetry started. But it is also where I experienced abuse and exposure to substance use and had nowhere to process or heal. It's the country, and there were no transformative programs for us. While I was fortunate to find creative communities outside of my hometown, several of my peers were not. Fast forward to 2022, this is still a reality for young people in Charles County. Over 27,000 young people are experiencing hardships like houselessness, racialized trauma, education, and location-based discrimination, and have nowhere to turn to heal, to cope, or express themselves within our community. This is why my team and I have been approved to open the first ever public charter school in rural Southern Maryland, Phoenix International School of the Arts. At Phoenix International, we're leveraging the transformative power of the arts as a vehicle for healing, self-actualization, and community uplift. We're intervening at the middle school grades, and our expert teachers instruct the scholars in instrumental music, voice, dance, theater, and visual art. Smart artists create smart art and relevant change. So our creative education model is combined with an academic program rooted in global mindedness. Like the Phoenix, we believe Black rural America can and will rise above the ashes, its circumstances, and reach its greatest potential. We're blazing a path in rural Southern Maryland with Phoenix International School of the Arts, and will continue on to reach those pockets of America, reassuring them that they are worthy to be center stage. Tap into our website and send me an email to partner with us as we connect rural Black America to a world of high net opportunities.
Hi, my name is Natalie, and I'm the co-founder and executive director of Homeworks Trenton. Growing up in Hong Kong as an English-speaking student in a Chinese school, I remember memorizing my textbook and hearing my classmates brag about getting a 90 while I hid my test grade of 39. But when I was 14, I had the opportunity to attend a boarding school in the US. While I had to leave my family and culture behind, through living with my teachers, I felt like I was no longer learning for grades, but learning to make sense of my identity in the world. And more importantly, being in a dorm with 40 other girls, I felt safe to be myself. I ended up teaching in Trenton, where my incredible students expressed not feeling safe and heard in their schools and communities. It was interesting, while we were from different parts of the world, we shared similar experiences. Now I know that from my boarding school experience, when women come together, we can do anything and everything. Statistics show that boarding schools can be a great equalizer and give women the confidence to do things they didn't know was possible. For example, 87% of boarding school graduates reported being ready for college, compared to 39% of public schools. But there are barriers for this access, and oftentimes students feel like they need to shed their community as a cost. So what if we could bring the benefits of a boarding school to public schools, but without the bureaucracy, high fixed costs, and scalability issues, while also reversing the narrative that our kids need to leave their communities to be successful? In 2016, we did just that and started Homeworks, a weekday after-school residential program for marginalized girls. There are 4 components to our model: dormitory living and meals, round-trip school transportation, academic enrichment, and identity-driven leadership. We are creating a community of women to reclaim power over their cultures, identities, and experiences. Over the past 6 years, we have raised over $2 million to impact 50 scholars and have ran 5 programs. Last year, we had a 93% attendance rate compared to 70% in Trenton schools, which are risk factors for poverty and homelessness. I'm excited to say that our senior DeRay has been accepted to 9 colleges and is attending Montclair State University on a full ride. Our vision is to have chapters of Homeworks all around the country and all around the world, where we can have girls come together to create ground-up, people-driven systems change. But we need your help. We are raising $4 million to purchase our very own dorm and fund our operations to expand our mission. So join us.
Many blessings. I come to you as young, gifted, and brown, like so many young people. I used to love school. Here I am in Jalisco, Mexico, but I didn't know that when I'd get to the States, something would happen. Dr. Valenzuela calls it subtractive schooling. It's this idea that the more time you spend in most schools, things get subtracted from you. Your history, your culture, your pride, your roots, sometimes even your land. I'm thankful though that I had amazing grandparents. Here they are on my sleeve. May they rest in peace, who taught me some culture, who taught me about my roots. But I really didn't find out who I am till I got to college. Most kids never have that opportunity. That is why for the last 27 years I've been an educator, and I want to build a new, different kind of school that young people deserve. I want to take you to a really difficult place. This is a young man, 10 years old, locked up in one of our juvenile halls. What's expected of this young man? What future are they to have? Let's reimagine what could be possible. I want us to imagine a school where we call young people warriors, healers, scholars, and hustlers. Imagine that. Imagine a place where by senior year, you have a living wage job in a social justice career. Imagine a school with a grandmother like mine in every single classroom. Imagine a place where we can reroute, reconnect, and reattach to who we really are. Imagine that we focus on that hard point of transition from middle school to high school, and we catch young people at that critical point. And finally, that we center Indigenous languages for a first time in our school system. Now, I know you're familiar with the school to prison pipeline, and we think it looks from here to here, but it actually looks more like this. And we want to post up right in the middle of the school to prison pipeline and build our school to create another reality, so that we fundamentally, collectively change outcomes, so that young people are really graduating, they have college credits, they are now in a social justice career of their choice, and they are speaking Indigenous languages. So we go back to this young man, and what we figure out is, with an opportunity like this, let's welcome them home in a good way. Would you join us at homieshighschool.org and help us to raise the funds that we need for this kind of school? Listen, y'all, in order to make this happen, we're going fully independent in the spirit of the Black Panther Party. Would you help us to get there? We're raising $32 million for 10 years worth of funding. Help us to do that. Help us welcome kids home.
Those were amazing videos from some of our most innovative education entrepreneurs, Angelica, Natalie, and Cesar. But what is a fellowship if it doesn't have great leaders? And so I'd like to introduce our fellowship team, starting with our associate, Danielle Meltz, our senior lead of education, Carolina Villagrana, and our senior lead of conscious tech, Salam Kebram. They're a wonderful, amazing team that actually makes sure that our fellows have the ability to learn about what it means to scale a venture. Carolina, mi amiga, it's great to see you.
Hey, how are you?
I'd love to ask you a couple of questions about your experiences running the Education Fellowship. You have a wonderful background in education, right? You've been an entrepreneur yourself. Can you briefly tell us about what the education track is and a key highlight that you've had from working with these amazing education entrepreneurs?
Yeah, working within the education track and what it is a collective of individuals who are truly aiming to redefine the educational ecosystem, whether that's through a program or whether they're through the school, opening a school. They are truly redefining what the opportunities are possible for our kids and the opportunities that they rightly deserve. And Charles, what stands out to me is that these aren't just individuals. These are individuals who are from the community. They know the need, they know the people, and they are partnering with community, as we saw in the last 3 videos.
It's amazing thinking about that community and what it means, right? It's big here in an organization, but it's also bigger out with them, right? Their communities are the people that actually say, hey, we need this, and they're the ones actually solving the problems for them. Can you just quickly tell me, what was one big win for you during this Cycles Fellowship?
Yeah, when I think about this past year, I truly appreciate connections more than anything. And this time around, we had the opportunity to connect with our fellows in person. That means we met them and built relationships with Welcome Week. I had the opportunity to go visit my fellows during site visits and also closing week. And what really stands out to me, Charles, about the fellowship is it's not just about the tools to build long-term sustainability. Like, that is our ultimate goal, but it's also the chance for our fellows to be re-inspired, to rejuvenate, and to be motivated all over again. But this time, they're doing it with a collective of people who have similar identities and backgrounds. And that in itself is so empowering.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And that community from beginning to end is so crucial to their success, not only during the fellowship, but beyond.
Right. Exactly.
Right. I'd love for us to hear from 2 more of our wonderful education ventures.
Let's do it.
Haura, imigishi bagishage gwe chigabu idigo awasi do them squamu gummy mizaga getting and donje. Hi, my name is Nate Taylor. I come from the Red Lake Indian Reservation located in northern Minnesota. We are working on a venture to start a charter school here in Red Lake. And the reason behind it is a lot of our people have lost their culture and lost their connection to the world. We have this relationship to the star world, the animal world, the water world, and our ancestors. There was a point in time where we were told to forget all that. We were told to never use our language ever again. We were told to never sing our songs again. We were told to throw away the very essence of who we are. The time is here, the day is here, where we want to give that back to our children. We want to remember who we are. We want to remember that relationship to the land once again. That connection gives us our power, gives us our strength. The way of the world right now, I feel, is like the world has kind of lost that importance, that understanding of you can't throw trash where you live. You can't, destroy everything. Nowadays they call it resources, but to us, it's our everything. It's our mother. And so we owe it to our children to give that to them. Our people have always thought 7 generations down the line, in the sense that, our 7 generations back, our ancestors thought of us. We have a moral obligation to think of our ancestors 7 generations down the line. So right now, we're worried about that, so we want to change that. We want to get everybody on that right path, sustainable living, land-based learning, all of that. So our ask is for our building, we've raised $10 million, but we still need $2,780,000 for a new building. And either that or operational support of $250,000 a year that goes towards our operations and to defray the cost of running a school. We are serving K through 5, 86 students, and we look to expand every year. So thank you very much for your time. Miigwech.
Hi, my name is Tiffany, and I'm the founder of Uprooted Academy. We help first-generation, low-income students of color feel courageous, confident, and competitive in the college application process. When students have the tools needed to be competitive and apply to top schools, they have access to better financial aid, schools with higher graduation rates, and have access to a strong alumni network and job opportunities, which can help close the wealth gap. While many of our students are confident and courageous, it does not always equate to their academic goals. How do I know this? I was a student. I froze when it came time to apply to college. I had 15 schools on my list and only applied to one. One admissions counselor came to my high school, looked over my application, and gave me 3 tips to elevate my chances, giving me the confidence I needed to hit submit. Because it's not that I wasn't working hard, I was just working wrong, and I was alone. I had access to lots of resources on the web with a checklist of things to do, but what I really needed was someone to walk me through the application. And I often wonder, what opportunities did I miss? And I envision a world where no student has to ask that question because they have the tips needed to ensure their application stands out. And since then, I spent over a decade working with students in schools as both a therapist and college counselor, as well as an application reader at competitive universities. I learned what schools were looking for, how to help students with different components of the application, and most importantly, how to guide students through difficult emotions to courageously complete their task. All students deserve this holistic guidance, but I know that high school counselors were overwhelmed. A survey shows counselors can only spend around 10% of their time on college advising activities. So if a family wants their students to have a chance, they need to spend thousands of dollars on an independent counselor. Uprooted Academy's tech platform and app gives students 20+ hours of video content and a 90-page workbook teaching things like how to write the essay, how to navigate best fit colleges, and how the evaluation works. We teach students how to manage their array of emotions in this process, humanizing their experience. And the best part, it's available to them 24 hours a day, giving them the step-by-step support while they go through the application. And we partner with organizations and schools that serve first-generation, low-income students of color. We provide the app with hundreds of tips to students and training to counselors to help maximize the time they do have together. So partner with us by sponsoring a district so their students can too be courageous, confident, and competitive in the college application process. Thank you.
Wow. Did you just see those videos from Nate and Tiffany? Right? You should feel inspired by them. You should want to go out and see what they're doing. You should want to go out and visit the communities that they're serving. That's amazing. But that's our education portfolio. And that's just one side of this, right? We also have Conscious Tech, our Tech for Good portfolio, which is led by my wonderful friend, Salam. Salam, right? Right. You're amazing. But I want to know why our folks are amazing. Why is it important for us as an organization and for you and the work you do to invest in entrepreneurs that are building tech for good?
Yeah, that's a great question, Charles. And I'll answer it this way. I think it's important for us to invest in tech. Like, no doubt, tech makes us makes our lives a little easier. But not all tech is good tech, right? The current tech industry, as we all know, is rife with racism and misogyny. They're not building the products that are addressing our community's pain points. They're certainly not hiring us. So it's not like we can go in there and help them build the things that would serve our communities. So yeah, like I think it's vitally important to invest in tech entrepreneurs who are BIPOC, women, and non-binary, because like they're the ones who are building the products that are addressing our pain points. I think it's especially important to focus on social tech entrepreneurs because they're the ones who are building the things that will allow us to create a world where all of us can thrive.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And that's the thing. So all of us can thrive. I want you to think about, right, the wonderful experience that you just had that culminated in Denver. What are some of the takeaways from the fellowship for you?
I mean, I would say the biggest takeaway is that we have these entrepreneurs who are already doing the thing, right? Like we are supporting them with capital, coaching, curriculum, all the C's. But now they know that they have a community, like a ride or die Camelback fam that believes in their vision, that's rooting for them, and that's ready to support them so that they can be successful. I feel like that is my biggest takeaway from this fellowship.
And they are working together. And that's the thing, to be able to see them sit together and think about how they grow together is a wonderful thing, because that doesn't often happen in a fellowship. And that's what makes Camelback what it is. That is what makes us successful in what we do. It's our community. So I'd love to introduce, right, our conscious tech portfolio. Here we go.
Hi everyone, my name is David Lopez and I'm the co-founder and CEO at Gritly, where we are redefining the way companies interact with and hire talent. According to the World Economic Development Forum, by 2030, over 1 billion people will need to upskill in order to meet global demand. As of today, we are not on track. College isn't for everybody. The debt isn't always worth the risk, and to top it off, colleges and universities are not meeting the needs of employers when it comes to preparing their graduates for the jobs of tomorrow. This is where Gritly comes in. Job seekers look at Gritly as the one place to browse and learn about new career opportunities, find the role-specific training program that's right for them, and begin their coursework on their way to their first job. With career placement tools, our candidates go from discovery to their first role with one single profile. Hiring companies only have to have one partnership with us in order to gain access to a pool of qualified candidates from workforce boot camps all across the country. Our learning management system empowers technical boot camps and workforce development programs to source candidates, run their programs, and get their candidates hired based on their training, performance, and the overall body of work. More importantly, our platform is easy to use for all communities, no matter how technologically savvy you may or may not be. We're de-risking the hiring process for managers by providing them with candidate performance metrics and profiles to ensure that they are engaging with candidates who are qualified to actually get the job done versus someone who can hack the resume, interview, and references process but can't deliver in the job. Gritly is here to lead us into the new revolution of skills-based hiring for all. We're currently raising $1.25 million to invest in our product development, getting to market, and growing our team. We're looking to connect with and build relationships with investors who want to revolutionize this industry with us.
Imagine with me, what does a society look like without patriarchy, racism, sexism, and inequity? Conversely, I want you to imagine being the mayor of a city like New Orleans. You've inherited one of the highest crime, murder, and poverty rates of all U.S. cities. You have a limited budget and limited resources. The business community wants you to be tougher on crime, and the citizens want you to stop putting their children in jail and build a future for them. You've tried everything, but you're faced with long-standing and complex problems, and nothing really seems to work. How do you get from point A to point B? My name is Dr. Sunita Singh. I'm the CEO and founder of iStart, a data science nonprofit. For years, we've been studying the economics of vulnerable populations. In my research, I found the primary engine of the problems of cities like New Orleans is mathematically structural inequity. It's this type of systemic marginalization that occurs at the institutional level and slowly gives rise to many types of human suffering, like our extraordinary murder rate in New Orleans. But iStart wants to transform cities by leveraging data science and AI to efficiently and effectively reverse inequity, keeping in mind the community healing that must occur in tandem to move citizens from barely surviving to thriving. We want to build for you, my hypothetical mayor, an analysis using millions of historical data points to pinpoint the systems and spaces that perpetuate concentrated inequity and human suffering in your city. With the help of AI and predictive analytics, we can test your historical challenges against the successful practices of equitable cities across the world and tailor a prescriptive plan that has been proven to comprehensively unravel your most entrenched problems. We monitor this change as each citizen gains equity in income, safety, wealth, and status over time. To do this, iStart has built an amazing all-star team of experts and PhDs in geographic information systems, econometrics, urban studies, data science, and complex dynamic systems. What are we asking for? We're raising $500K for team and tech. We want to validate our software solution and scale it across US cities. Please come see what we are doing to create the equitable society of the near future.
Hi there, I'm Jen. If I fell to the floor right now, what would you do? Would you panic? Would you call 911? In this moment, would you even stop and wonder if calling 911 is really what I want, or even what I need? For many with complicated health, 911 is not always the best option. I know this personally as someone with 15 different health problems. In 2015, I had 15 911 calls. In 3 weeks. I only wanted one of those 15 calls. 911 has become the go-to emergency response in our society. It's great when I need it. But when I don't, it's really costly. Those well-meaning but unwanted 911 calls in 2015 cost me 30% of my income, caused me to nearly be arrested, and contributed to significant housing problems. I spent hours of my life in the emergency room, and it was a huge drain on my independence. I spent so much time feeling dehumanized and 2 feet tall. I searched for a solution and eventually recognized that this problem had yet to be addressed. Thus, 119 was born. It became a patent-pending, customizable, mobile, wearable device, the next generation of the outdated medical ID bracelet. It can speak to bystanders for me when I can't, and guide anyone through giving me the right care at the right time for me. But 119 won't just help reduce unnecessary medical costs. It could help users communicate the location of equipment like inhalers or EpiPens. It could directly call emergency contacts or 911 when a user is isolated. It could help worried parents stick to their child's epilepsy care plans or concerned families follow hospice rules. And these use cases translate into money saved by the insurance agencies, by the hospitals, and most importantly, by the patient. This system will empower the upwards of 150 million Americans with recurring health problems to own their own care. I never actually wanted to develop a system, but if I wanted to be more than my health problems, 119 needed to exist. I dream of a world where the chronic illness, disability, and aging communities retain their fundamental rights to dignity, respect, and humanity during medical events. To get there, though, I need your help. 119 is currently halfway through development and needs to secure $500,000 to complete development, go to market, and retain our existing team. This funding would help us assist 62,000 Ohioans in our first year. Let's redefine what a medical emergency is, together. Thank you.
You see what I'm talking about? When I say tech for good, David, Sunita, and Jen are out there building operations and tech and ventures that are going to change people's lives. That's what tech for good is. Make sure that if you have an opportunity and you want to learn more about what these wonderful ventures are doing, go to camelbackventures.org/Camelback Press Play. Check them out. Check us out and what we're doing. I'd also like to introduce my friend, right? And that's the thing about working at Camelback Ventures. We love each other and what we do. We have a wonderful culture that's built by our CEO, Aaron Walker. And so when I think about this, right, I think I get to see my friend Danielle Meltz and all the great work that she does as our associate. Hello, Danielle. It's great to see you.
Hey, Charles. I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. This is your second fellowship that you've been through, all right, as we work with untapped and undervalued entrepreneurs. You've done amazing work. But what has been top of mind for you as a favorite moment from this cohort?
Yeah, that's a good question because there were a lot of them. But I think one of my favorite moments was during closing week when we were all together in Colorado. We rode up to Red Rocks to get some mountain time in and go to a meditation session led by one of our fellows. And as we get up there, we realize that they're closing early for an event and there's not enough space to do the meditation session. And while I'm trying to figure out the logistics and what's next for us, I turn around and all of the fellows and Camelback staff are singing A Whole New World. And I feel like it was just this perfect example of our fellows' ability to pivot and have a positive perspective and a testament to the community that they have built over the past 4 months.
Yeah, a whole new world. That's what Camelback is for many of our fellows, Danielle. A whole new world, right? Oftentimes we're the first investment in for them, right? And for them to be able to see that and recognize that whole new world, right, is a wonderful opportunity. I know that the three of you all have curated those opportunities, that new world, right, that new vision for them. So thank you for what you do. I'd love to close this out, right, with our last 3 videos of our conscious tech, right? Please enjoy. Please enjoy what they do because as we said, our conscious tech is tech for good.
My name is Ariana Abramson, and I am the CEO and founder of DivvySci Software. DivvySci is an AI company that helps organizations dismantle workplace bias and #stop the microaggressions. I was raised by a single Puerto Rican mother who taught me to ask 1,000 whys and nurtured my love of STEM. However, when I was faced with experiences of bias and microaggressions at school and at work, I was not prepared. In fact, before I started DivvySci, I struggled with the question, even though I am brilliant, do I not have a place in STEM because I am a woman of color? Issues of communication bias and exclusion impact more than 54% of the IT industry and its employees. So we built DivvySci to help organizations deconstruct systems of racism, bias, and exclusion while connecting authentically with their diverse employees. We are building a new AI model that shifts the way we leverage language, verbal cues, and communication to build equitable experiences in the workplace and within team interactions. So how will DivvySci be a member of your team? We integrate with platforms of your choice, whether it be Zoom, Google Meet, or Slack, to collect verbal and written communication within your team. And we listen like any member of your team would. Lastly, we provide you with the tool that effectively helps you measure and evaluate how to reach goals on inclusive and equitable translation, integrity, and courtesy in your daily communication. If DivvySci existed for me when I started my career in tech, I would not have had to question my place as an Afro-Latina in STEM. So if you are interested in working with us to make your workplace and teams more inclusive and more equitable, please find us online at divvysci.com and follow us on social media at DivvySci. Thank you.
The new civil rights movement is here, and we're building technology to power it. Tech for good. Tech to end police brutality and all forms of civil rights abuse. Tech to end injustice. Injustice like the type that George Floyd faced. Do you ever think about George Floyd? How does that make you feel? Do you feel angry, sad, confused? You see, I felt all those things because when I was 17, I myself was a victim. I was wrongfully arrested. And at the time, I didn't know my rights. And the 8 people that witnessed what happened to me didn't know how to help me. And I learned a shocking truth. If you don't know your rights, it's as if you don't have any. And that's why I created Rights, REYETS, a mobile app that helps you know your rights and how to safely assert them. Because if I had rights, I would have known. I would have known not to sign a document at the hands of police pressure that might jeopardize my innocence. And the 8 people that witnessed what happened to me would have known how to help me. And they would have known that organizations like Good Call New York exist that can offer free legal services to me. And I would have known how to advocate for myself and others like me. You see, when you have rights, you have a superpower because you're better informed, you're safer, and you're a more powerful member to your family and your community. And if you're an organization, you drastically increase your impact by partnering with rights through our communication tools and data-driven analytics. We're a team of serial entrepreneurs, lawyers, and technologists. We're brown, black, immigrant founders that believe in doing good by doing well. So here's my invitation on how you can help us do good by doing well. If you want to protect your rights, download the app and be an active member of our community. If you're an organization, you want to increase your impact, partner with us. And if you're an investor curious about our roadmap and how we monetize, we'd love to talk to you about how you can support our future. And if you don't know, now you know.
At 52 years old, my mother became the first person in her family to graduate from college. In fact, both of my parents have college degrees, and they did not give my siblings and me the option of not going to college. That path reinforced the idea that wealth and poverty and privilege are inherited. Although my siblings and I did not inherit wealth at birth, our parents did bestow to us the belief that although public institutions and systems may fail us, accessing economic and education opportunity is our right. Hello, my name is Patrice Berry, and I am a public servant, a social justice warrior, and the founder of AssistHub, a tech-enabled organization that makes it easy for people to access the public benefits to which we're entitled. I've spent the last 20 years helping students and families access services as they strive for economic mobility. I've learned that public policy actually upholds many of the barriers getting in our way, and that policy is highly driven by our beliefs about people, their value, and what they're entitled to. Our social safety net is an exemplar of this. There are 13 million Americans who do not receive the benefits for which they're eligible. By burying information in a web of fractured sources and making the application so complex, $60 billion in public benefits go unclaimed every single year. Complexity favors the privileged, and we believe it should be easy to access resources to which we have a right. So we've created a platform that facilitates the process of getting public benefits and treats every single person looking for help with the dignity that they deserve. Take Tiffany, a full-time college student who works 40 hours a week. By answering a few questions, Tiffany received a list of public benefits in less than 2 minutes. But more than just navigation, Tiffany received application support and eventually attained an additional $3,600 in additional income so that she could keep her housing and stay in college. We grew from serving 5,000 people like Tiffany in 2020 to helping over 40,000 Californians access benefits. Today, we're raising $500,000 to build first-of-its-kind technology, expand our coaching program, and ultimately unlock millions of dollars for thousands more families by the end of next year. If you believe that economic opportunity should be possible for everyone, join us.
As you've seen over the last 60 minutes, our fellows, right, and the work that they're doing, it is visionary. It is ruthless for good. It is life-changing. It brings communities from all across the country together as we think about building generational wealth and livable communities where everyone has the ability to thrive, where undervalued and untapped entrepreneurs have the ability to think through and solve the problems that are most pressing to our communities. Think about that. As you wake up, right, and you have the ability to live the life that you want, Camelback Ventures and our fellows have the ability and are creating, right, those opportunities. And so we are thankful for what they're doing. And I am thankful for our fellowship team and how they have poured into not only our 2022 fellowships, but previous fellowships that have allowed us to have over 123 ventures come through Camelback Ventures. It is amazing to see the work that we have been able to do and that the work that will be continued to be done as Camelback Ventures continues to grow. This is our first cohort of 2022, and we look forward to celebrating our next cohort at the end of the year. We look forward to seeing their continued growth. To those of you who are watching, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being a part of our Camelback family. We are grateful. We are grateful for your time today. But as I've said before, don't forget, if you want to learn more about what we do here at Camelback Ventures and our ventures, make sure you go to camelbackventures.org/Camelback Press Play. And make sure, right, as you think about what you're doing out in the world, you ask yourself how you can be ruthless for good. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you again. Take care.